I bought myself a Trimax 25 kb 2 weeks ago, and I've put in around 200 km. This baby is pretty light at 145 grams with rim tapes minus the skewers. So it's installed on my Fuji SL. I sold my Mavic Cryserium SLE, which also was weighing around the same weightage at 1445 thereabouts. So it's really same weight but different characteristics, because the Trimax has a wider rim width. The older wheel set usually has a 19 mm width. This is I can't remember what is the rim width, but should be 20 or 21. But it's having used it for or ridden it for 200 kilometers, it's proven itself to be a worthy replacement for my Mavic Cryserium SLE, which was almost like 5-7 years thereabouts. So what I can see, the similar characteristics is this machining to save weight of the rim. It is very similar to that of the Mavic Cryserium's SLE to save weight. Okay, the spokes are bladed spokes, so it's at the arrow properties there, and vision hubs, right? So it's still new. I don't see that it spins that smooth, and the shop owner told me to adjust the preload if it's still not smooth enough after a few hundred kilometers. But let's do a sound check. Alright, it doesn't spin up much longer, and I'm using the stock Vision skewers, while the front wheel spins up pretty smooth. No preload adjustment needed, and I'm really satisfied with this Trimax 25 kb wheel. What I felt as compared to my older Cryserium SLE was that sprinting is much stiffer than Cryserium SLE, because when I sprint out of the saddle, there's some brake rub on my Mavic Cryserium SLE, but with the Trimax it's no brake rubs at all, although the pads are adjusted very close by. And I'm surprised that I'm not sure if it's because of the rim width or rim width especially, I think that it gets up to speed for my out of saddle sprint pretty easy. So previously with the Mavic Cryserium SLE, I've even with my out of saddle sprint, just to test just for the fun of it, usually it's very hard for me to hit 40 and above kmh on a flat, although I tried my best. It's really pretty hard. Only maybe on my stronger efforts it might reach 44 onwards, but for this I'm surprised that with not much of a hard effort as before, I can actually reach with up to speed of 42 easily, right? So I'm really surprised. I'm not sure if it's the rim width or anything, and I'm doing this review because there's not much or not many videos about the Vision Trimax 25 KB. So what I also realized is that this wheel, taking out the tires is pretty hard. I actually I couldn't get it out myself, so I think there's a technique to it because of the wider rim width. I think you have to let go of all the air. Of course, definitely that is, but you have to center it, make a gap in between so that with the levers you can easily pull it out easier as compared to the Mavericks that I had. I didn't have to do much. I just slot in the pliers and scoop it up. But this, with having tried for 10 over minutes or 15 minutes with the pliers to scoop up the wheels, was not coming out. So I don't hope to get a puncture on these wheels, but that's what my take on this. And yes, it's very nice black anodized wheel. Spokes are the standard nipple, so any bike shop should be able to tune it as compared to the Mavic. You have that special wrench for the proprietary nipples, which could get stuck because it's an old wheel. But this, I'm very satisfied with this Trimax. If you're rim brake enthusiast and you want to keep the rim alive and using aluminium, which is what I love, instead of carbon for rim brakes, then this is definitely a good buy. I bought it for Ringgit Malaysia 2,500, sorry. So that's about 450, no, that's around 550 USD. So that's my review. Hope you enjoyed it. Comment if you have any questions.